What is up, YouTube? It is now 14 weeks out. It is Monday. I'm feeling good. I have just gone out this morning and got some cardio done, and now I've come home to eat some breakfast. Now, I got super hungry this morning when I was waiting for breakfast, so I have already eaten half a Power Crunch bar. I had the other half yesterday, so that is the remnants of the caramel one. Now, from here in prep, I'm actually completely cutting out protein bars unless I am traveling, because most of them are full of absolute crap. The Power Crunch bars, even though they do have a few more calories than other bars, they don't seem to have a lot of crap in them, and they're pretty honest in terms of the nutritional info, obviously from what I know. But anyway, that was sort of a half a little bar, finished that off, and now there's no more of them in my house. So I'm going to show you a full day of eating today. I'm on a lower calorie day today. I had a bit of a higher calorie day yesterday on Sunday. So at the moment I'm doing 2 times higher calorie days per week. Now I say higher calorie rather than high carb because it's more bringing the calories up overall. Carbs are still a lot higher, but my fats are not super low on those days. So I'm just cooking off some eggs. So in that mix I've actually got 1 egg, some egg whites, some low-fat cheese, and some spinach. Pretty much every single meal I'll either have some form of vegetable or fruit. Generally when I'm prepping, I eat more and more of those because not only do they keep you feeling fuller, but also micronutrients. You tend to get sick when you prep. When you're in a caloric deficit, you're at a higher chance of basically being run down. Now, I've pretty much gotten sick every single prep I've done, whether it be some form of small flu, cold, whatever, or more serious. So I'm trying to avoid that this time. So that will be breakfast. I'm gonna get out some whole grain toast, gluten-free, have that with it, with a tiny, tiny bit of organic butter, and that will pretty much be brekkie. I want to talk about a couple of things that I'll be doing differently this prep compared to diets I've tried before, compared to comp preps before, because I have done about 13 shows, even though it's been 4 years since I've gotten on stage. And what me and Sean sat down, obviously Sean's helping me with my coaching, we sat down and talked about all of the things that went really well last time I've prepped, and maybe some of the things that didn't go so well. Now, the time that I've got best results is actually when I followed meal plans or wrote myself out meal plans to stick to. When I tracked macros, it didn't go too badly, but it was more a case that I was hungry, that I didn't plan out my foods properly, and definitely at the end of preps, even on macros, I was pretty much sticking to a meal plan that I'd written myself, and I try to stick to that food because also mentally it's a lot easier than having to enter things every single day. So that's definitely one of the things that I'll be doing as of today. So I did a bit of a meal plan in MyFitnessPal last night, and that is the foods that I'm going to be having today. Then I don't have to think about it, then I can prep food, all of those things, and it's going to be much easier. Now, the other thing is that I'm wearing this bad boy, a little Fitbit. I haven't really tracked my output when I have prepped before, and I do think that, I'm going to put this here so I can rest my frame. I do think it's important to track your caloric output. So basically what the Fitbit's going to do is just kind of track my NEAT. So basically my non-exercise induced thermogenesis that I produce throughout the day. So when I've prepped before, I've been PTing, I've been at uni, I've been on my feet a lot more. Now I have a pretty much sedentary job. I work at a computer for most of the day, as I'm sure many of you guys do watching this video. So that means that my actual energy output on the daily is a lot lower, which means I will probably have to do more cardio than I've done in preps before, which I'm okay with, but I think that's an important point to understand. A lot of people freak out about cardio, or you hear a lot of people say you shouldn't do cardio when you prep. It's probably a load of crap, because at the end of the day, if you have a job, like I've had clients before who are laborers and builders, guys, for example, they barely have to touch cardio when they prep maybe like the final couple of weeks, because they're already doing a lot of basically daily activity or daily movement. For me, or someone who works behind a computer all day, unfortunately we're not moving our bodies a lot, so we will either have to diet on a lot lower calories or do some form of cardiovascular activity or weight train for longer, all of these things. Now, realistically, weight training for 3-4 hours to get that same energy output is probably not optimal. You're probably not going to recover well, all of those things. So at the moment, my cardio has come up. I'm now doing basically a different form of cardio as well, and we're going to be monitoring that output a little bit more on the Fitbit. The problem that I found with things like the step meal is that it doesn't track steps when you're on it, because it thinks you're in one position, especially if you hold your hands on the side or just rest them there. Unless your hands are actually moving, it doesn't pick it up as movement. So I'm basically using that just for daily activity. So just walking the dogs, all those sort of things, and I'm trying to have an amount of steps per day that I'm hitting so that we at least have a baseline of data to work from. Then in terms of cardiovascular output, we're going to be changing that up a little bit as well and going a little bit more intense. My body's pretty fit, generally speaking. Even though I have body fat, that doesn't mean that you're unfit. So I'm definitely quite fit. So we're doing more interval style training, not so much HIIT just yet. So the difference between obviously HIIT and interval training is varied. I have done some posts about that and I'll do another video about it, but we're doing more interval training to begin. And then if we need to throw in HIIT later on in the prep. I find that HIIT, proper HIIT, really taxes my central nervous system. And if I have to, again, go train in the afternoon or something like that, make sure I'm not burning my toast, then it definitely find that that can be a lot more difficult, especially say when you're doing legs or something like that. So we're doing some intervals and lifts at the moment, and I'm pretty much doing cardio most days. I think it's actually 4 days a week at the moment, and one small amount post-workout. So that's pretty much it for cardio at the moment. It's not a crazy amount, but it definitely, I guess, is a fair bit at 14 weeks out. But we've got a lot of fat to drop, we've got a lot of stuff to do, and I want to be open and transparent with you guys about those things as well. In terms of lifting, I'm lifting 5 days a week. We may increase that to 6, but keep them as shorter workouts, depending on however my body responds this weekend. So this week is a really big grind week. I'm going away to Japan in about 3 weeks, so it is pushing hard. Until then, knowing that it's going to be a little bit harder over in Japan. We'll be skiing, but it'll probably be harder to train and all of those sort of things. So I'm going to go eat my breakfast and I'll chat to you in the next video. All right, so I have done a few client check-ins now and a couple of programs, done some live videos in all my client groups because it's Monday, making sure everyone's motivated, making sure everyone's on track, because that is what it's all about. And I guess something that I wanted to have a quick chat about before I get on to meal 2 is fear of failure. I think this is a massive one that I chat to my clients about all of the time. And even me personally, I know that fear of failure of doing another comp prep and getting back on stage is definitely something that mentally I was struggling with over the last couple of months. And a lot of people kept asking, when are you going to compete? And I put up that video about not competing. And I was pretty honest, but I don't think I was 100% transparent. So I'm going to be transparent with you guys now. I have a massive fear of failure, of getting back on stage and disappointing myself, disappointing other people, disappointing my clients, disappointing so many people around me that I feel like hold a standard for me, that have expectations. And the biggest thing that I had to do that really helped me, and I wrote down some goals around this when I was over in Bali, because I was, motivating women and working on their fears and their goals. And that always helps me as well. And the big thing I thought was, you know what? If I never do it, I'll never know. And that is something that everyone needs to think about, because the big thing with fear is that nothing grows from it. It's just an uncomfortable position where you get nothing done. So for me, the biggest thing is I don't want to be in the same position in another 12 months time where I'm going, I should have prepped, I should have got on stage, I should have pulled my finger out, I should have done the grind. I don't want to be in that position. I want to be in a position of change, of growth, of self-discovery, of motivation for me and others. I want to do that for other women. So for me doing this, it's more than just about getting lean, doing all that jazz. It's about overcoming fear of failure and overcoming fear of self-doubt. I don't doubt myself in the sense of my abilities, but sometimes I doubt myself in the sense of me making time for things. And I know that that's just a bullshit reason, because I'm in a position in my life where I do have the opportunity to go train when I want, to go do certain things at certain times of the day, coaching mainly online. And a lot of the time I procrastinate sometimes to get stuff done. and I know where my weaknesses are. So all I need to do is work on my weaknesses till they become a strength, and that is things like time management, that is making myself a priority, and keep my strengths there. We have so many different personality types, and everyone will have either strengths or weaknesses. No one's perfect. No one is ever going to be perfect. But at the end of the day, if we can use our strengths and we can look at our weaknesses, we don't have to perfect our weaknesses, but if we can be motivated to understand where our weaknesses are maybe holding us back and how we can move forward, and that is really going to motivate us. So that is a little bit of realness around fear. And the big thing that motivates me from moving away from fear is, do I want to be in the same place in another 12 months time? For me personally, do I want to be here another 6 months time? Hell no. Yes, I love my body. I love feeling strong. I love being athletic, all of those things. But at the same time, yeah, I do want to drop a bit of body fat. I do want to be leaner. I do want to see what's underneath all of my hard work. So I need to remove this fear of failure and just do the fucking work. It's no more simple than that. If you are struggling, if you have self-doubt, if you're doing self-comparison in your head, just do the fucking work, because you're never going to know what you can achieve unless you get shit done. So I'm going to go have meal 2. And then from there, I'm going to get back to a fair bit more client work. It is Monday, so it's literally just check-in day all day. Super busy. But that's why I got up this morning at 6 a.m, went and got my cardio in, and I'm going to go train a little bit earlier today as well to assure that I don't have a super late night. So, meal 2. I actually prepared a couple of salads yesterday? No, day before. So I don't know how fresh this will be, but we'll give it a crack. So within this salad, there is 1 turkey burger chopped up. There is some mixed nuts, walnuts and almonds. There is some salad and a little bit of yogurt-based salad dressing. Now to that, all I'm going to add in is some carbs. So I'm going to add in some brown rice because I was out of it the other day. So I'm going to add in half a cup of brown rice to that. So the total macros for this meal is going to be around 25 grams of protein, around 35 grams of carbs, and around 15 grams of fat with the nuts and a little bit in the dressing. So that is going to be meal 2 for the day. I'm going to get on with my work. At the moment, my caffeine intake has definitely increased. I am now up to, I usually have 2 Nespresso pods a day, and then I'm having half a scoop of pre-workout on days that I feel I need it. Now, in terms of caffeine intake, there is, I guess, pros to having more caffeine. It has got benefits for fat loss, but at the same time, there's also negative side effects with having a lot. Studies are a little bit skewed, but definitely it's something that I know internally myself. If I have too much of it, I tend to rely on it and then have had burnout before. So obviously during prep, I don't mind increasing my caffeine intake, but definitely post-comp, I will be having a caffeine detox, caffeine break, all of that. So I've just got another meeting on the phone now, and then we're having a smaller meal and heading to the gym quite early today because I'm actually catching up on a couple of sessions with clients because I've been away in Bali, and then I've got to go to a meeting about our house build at 7 p.m. at night, and because that's the only time I could fit it in my schedule, and then I'll be having quite a late dinner after that. So I hope you're enjoying this vlog so far. Let me know if you got any questions, and be sure you subscribe along the way too. So I pretty much pre-prepared most of my meals today because I knew I'd have a super busy day on the computer and in meetings and all of that jazz. So here I have my next meal. It's my pre-training meal. So I'm going to go train legs, and then I've got some clients afterwards. So pretty big meal because I'm not going to be able to eat until probably about 8 o'clock tonight. So what it is, I'll put the recipe in the link. It's not that tasty though. If you have any better recipes for zucchini oats, It's pretty good volume wise, like it's a pretty big cake sort of thing, but it is 25 grams of carbs, 25 grams of protein, and only about 3 grams of fat. So pretty good as like a pre-training meal. It's pretty big, so you know, I'm not going to complain, but it's pretty much zucchini, egg whites, protein powder, some oats, some cacao, some stevia, some almond milk, and that's pretty much it. And then I've just got a bit of chobani and strawberries and a tiny bit of honey on the top, so just 5 grams of honey. So all up, this meal is about 35 grams of carbs. I think it's 30 grams of protein and about 4 grams of fat. There's a couple of choc chips on there too that I forgot about, but that's part of the recipe. So that is it. That is my pre-training meal, and that is meal number 3, I think. Kind of only having 4 meals today, but I did have that half power crunch bar, so it's kind of 4.5. Generally I have 5 meals unless I am on my computer all day, then I'll tend to have kind of 4 bigger meals. But that's what I'm having now. So I'm gonna eat this, go do some legs, and then I'll check in with you at dinner time. All right, it is about 8:30 and I've just gotten home. And the dogs are going spaz, but I trained legs, and then I trained clients for an hour, and then I had to go to a house meeting at the house. We're building a house at the moment at the developers at 7:30 at night because it was the only time that I can fit it in my busy schedule. So he was like, I'll stay at work, I'll come have a chat to you. We got some bad news, and I guess this is probably a good time. Well, in the past, I probably would have gone and friggin' gone through a drive-through, bought a block of chocolate or whatever, and just eaten my feelings. But change of mindset, focusing on what is good, focusing on the positives, focusing on keeping some perspective here. We got some bad news. Basically, we were literally at the end process of our house build in terms of the land settlement, everything like that. So the build was meant to start in about a month. And we got some bad news that basically the council had knocked back approval on the subdivision, and we don't have that block of land. So yeah, anyway, I'm not sure how much I can actually say online, like legally in terms of what's going on. But the good thing is that there is another block that is right nearby, literally on the same site. It's now bigger because of the subdivision laws. Obviously that means it's more expensive, above our budget, but at the same time it means it's not going to go through till about March next year, which allows us more time to save, more time to work hard. And to be honest, I feel like everything happens for a reason. And the things that I didn't like about the current block were that it was a back block, so we didn't have street access, so we actually lost about 80 square meters just with the driveway. The other thing I didn't like was that we didn't have a very big backyard. So it was a 460 square meter block, but 80 square meters was pretty much like driveway. So it was only about 380 square meters of usable space, which isn't that big. The new block is about 470, I think, or 485 square meters, but it is front street access. So proper house, more space. So we're gonna get, you know, a decent sized house and a backyard for the dogs on that. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but I think that it's worth it, and I'm happy to do the grind, work hard to make that happen. We've also got a lot more time, and I think the fact that the build's not going to start till March, April next year is almost like a sign around comp prep that I'm not going to have to stress about building and everything that would have started in December. So shit happens for a reason. You just got to look at it that way, and yeah, that's all we can do, you know, at the end of the day. I don't lose any money, I get my deposit back, all of that. It was just the developers that kind of buck shit up. But what can you do? That's life. So I've actually got a fair bit of calories left because I didn't have a meal kind of between training clients in the gym, which is naughty, and I don't recommend that, and I'm really hungry. So I'm actually gonna have some cereal. I'm gonna have some gluten-free cocoa bombs, because I've got a fair bit of carbs left post-workout, and then I'm just gonna have some pumpkin, sweet potato, and chicken, so a bit of a bro meal to hit my fiber. And that is pretty much all my food for the day. So as you can see, that is basically total caloric consumption for the day. And I don't think that you guys need to know what macros I'm on. You can kind of guesstimate it from the foods that I had during my day. So yeah, I think that macros are individual to the person. This is more of a low day for me, and then I do have 2 higher days a week at the moment. So that is it for me, guys, and I will show you my last couple of meals for the day. I hope you enjoyed this little what I ate in a day. Gave you maybe some ideas. I know my food's a little bit boring, but if you did enjoy this video, please comment below and I'll do more of these as prep go on, as my macros get lower, as I am on all the poverty calories. You can see me die, and I really hope you're enjoying this series. Give it a like, give it a share, give it a comment so I know you're here, and thank you so much for tuning in. See you guys.